My girlfriend said she'd rather die than marry me in front of her friends. I just left. M28. Been with my girlfriend Chloe, F27, for 2 years. Last night might have been the end of it, and I'm still processing. Some background first. Chloe and I met through mutual friends at a barbecue. She was smart, ambitious, had this energy that just pulled you in. We clicked immediately. For the first year and a half, things were honestly great. I'm a mechanical engineer, steady job, nothing flashy but reliable. She worked in marketing at a tech startup, always had these big ideas about where her career was going. About 8 months ago, her company went through layoffs. Chloe got cut, and it hit her hard. Really hard. She'd always defined herself by her career, and suddenly that was gone. I stepped up, told her we'd figure it out together. Started covering rent, groceries, everything. She'd always called me her rock, said I was the stable one who kept her grounded. I took that seriously. So last night, she wanted to go out with 2 of her close friends, Maya and Jenna. They picked this new cocktail bar downtown. Not my scene at all. It's one of those places where a beer costs $18 and comes in a glass that looks like a chemistry experiment. But I went because that's what you do, right? I drove, figured I'd nurse 1 drink, and just be there for her. The night was going fine. Chloe was in her element, laughing with her friends, telling stories. I was doing my boyfriend duty, listening, contributing when appropriate, making sure everyone's drink stayed full. Pretty standard stuff. Then Maya, who was on her 3rd cocktail, leaned in with this playful smile and said, "So when's Leo finally gonna put a ring on it?" The question hung there for a second. Just typical drunk friend banter, right? I actually smiled, was about to make some joke about how I'm saving up or whatever. But Chloe's whole face changed. This weird expression I'd never seen before. Not embarrassment, not affection. Something else. She let out this laugh that sounded wrong, forced. "Oh my God," she said, and I'll never forget the tone. "I hope never. I'd rather die than marry him." The table went quiet. Maya and Jenna both looked uncomfortable, like they wanted to laugh it off but couldn't quite figure out how. Chloe kept going. "I mean, Leo's safe. He's stable. But can you imagine? I'd suffocate in that life. Everything small and predictable and boring." I didn't say anything. Didn't get angry. Didn't defend myself. Something in me just clicked into place. This sudden clarity. This wasn't her being drunk. This wasn't a bad joke. This was the truth. Probably the first real truth she'd told me in months. I finished my beer. Put 2 20s on the table for my share. Stood up. "Leo?" Chloe said, and now her voice had this edge of panic. I looked at her. "It's fine. Just remembered I have something to take care of." Walked out to my truck. Drove home. The whole way, my head was completely clear. No racing thoughts. No anger. Just this weird calm. She called about an hour later. I was already at my apartment, staring at all her stuff that had slowly accumulated over 2 years. Her skincare products in the bathroom. Her favorite coffee mug. The throw blanket she bought because our couch needed softness. I answered, "Baby, where did you go?" Her voice was shaky. I was just trying to be funny in front of the girls. You know I didn't mean it." I let her finish. "I'm just saving you from a fate worse than death," I said, and hung up. Turned my phone off. Sat there on the couch for a while, feeling like I'd just woken up from something. Update 1. First thing I did after that phone call was block her number. Then Instagram, Facebook, everything. Spent Saturday morning changing the locks on my apartment. She'd had a key for about a year. Went through and gathered up all her stuff. Clothes, toiletries, that goddamn throw blanket, some books she'd left on my shelf. Packed it all into boxes, stacked them outside my door. She must have come by Sunday morning because by Sunday afternoon, the boxes were gone, and my phone was lighting up with notifications from numbers I didn't recognize. She'd started calling from her friends' phones, from her mom's phone, even from what I'm pretty sure was a Google Voice number. I didn't answer any of them, blocked each new number as it came in. Maya texted me from her own phone Tuesday. "Leo, Chloe is really upset. She said it was just a dumb joke that came out wrong. Can you please just talk to her?" I didn't respond to Maya either. Wednesday, Jenna tried. "Look, I was there. What she said was messed up, but she's been crying for 3 days straight. She made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Here's the thing people don't get. I'm not angry. I'm not trying to punish her. I just finally saw clearly. For 8 months, I'd been her safety net while she figured her life out. I paid for everything, listened to her vent about how unfair the job market was, held her when she cried about her lost career. And the whole time, she was looking at me as this boring, safe placeholder. The guy you keep around until something better shows up. That night at the bar, she felt secure enough with her friends to say what she really thought. She didn't slip up. She was honest for the first time in months. So no, I'm not interested in hearing about how sorry she is now that she's facing consequences. Thursday morning, I got to work, and building security called me. Chloe was in the lobby, asking to see me. I told them I wasn't expecting any visitors and to please not let her up. Felt weird doing that, but also necessary. Friday, I found a handwritten letter slipped under my apartment door. 5 pages, front and back. A lot of, I was just trying to impress my friends. I was insecure and said something stupid. You're the best thing in my life, and I ruined it. There was this one line that stuck with me. I've been punishing myself. I barely eat. I can't sleep. Doesn't that show you how much I care? That's when I realized she still didn't get it. She thought this was about making me feel bad enough that I'd forgive her. She thought suffering was the same as understanding what she'd done wrong. I didn't write back. This weekend, I did something I haven't done in months. Went to my buddy Jake's garage and worked on the motorcycle I'd been rebuilding. Just a '78 Honda CB550, nothing fancy, but it's been sitting there collecting dust while I spent all my time being Chloe's emotional support system. Jake cracked some beers, handed me a wrench, and we just worked in comfortable silence for hours. It felt good. Really good. I'm focusing on me now. The apartment feels bigger without all her stuff in it. I'm sleeping better than I have in a year. Started meal prepping again. Hit the gym 4 times this week. Actually have time to read before bed. Chloe doesn't know it yet, but she's about to lose a lot more than just me. Edit. People asking if I feel guilty. Honestly, no. I feel guilty about a lot of things in life, but not this. When someone tells you who they really are, believe them. Edit 2. To everyone sharing their own stories in the comments, I'm reading all of them. Thank you. It helps to know I'm not crazy for just walking away from this. Update 2. 3 weeks since my last update. A lot has happened. First, Chloe lost her temp job. I don't know all the details, but from what I heard through mutual friends, the few who still talk to me, she'd been showing up late, distracted, generally not performing. They let her go after 2 weeks. Second, Maya and Jenna have apparently distanced themselves from her. I guess the bar scene embarrassed them more than I realized. Maya's in a serious relationship now, and Jenna just got engaged. Neither of them wanted to be associated with Chloe's drama. It's harsh, but it is what it is. Third, and this is the big one, my landlord decided to sell the building. Rent's been going up like crazy in our neighborhood, and he figured it was time to cash out. He offered the tenants first right of refusal. I bought my apartment, used some savings, got a decent mortgage rate, and now I own the place. It's a solid investment. Property values around here are only going up, and honestly, I like the neighborhood. Good local gym, my favorite coffee shop is 2 blocks away, and it's a straight shot to work. Chloe, who'd been month to month on her sublease at a friend's place, got evicted. Couldn't make rent without a job. She had to move back in with her mother about 40 minutes outside the city. She doesn't know I'm the one who bought the apartment we used to share. To her, it's just another thing that fell apart. My life, meanwhile, has gotten significantly better. Got promoted at work last month. My manager had been hinting at it for a while, but with everything going on with Chloe, I'd kind of put career advancement on the back burner. Now that I'm focused again, things are clicking. Better title, better pay, actual interesting projects instead of just maintenance work. Bought a truck. Nothing crazy, just a clean '05 Tacoma that'll actually be useful for hauling motorcycle parts and camping gear. I'd been driving a practical sedan because Chloe always complained about trucks being bro-y. Felt good to make that decision based purely on what I wanted. Joined a motorcycle club through Jake. It's mostly older guys, some veterans, all of them solid people who just like riding and working on bikes. We meet Saturday mornings, ride out to this diner about an hour north, have breakfast, ride back. Simple, but it's become the highlight of my week. I'm building a life that's actually mine. Sounds dramatic, but it's true. For 2 years, especially the last 8 months, everything was filtered through what Chloe needed or wanted. Now I wake up on Saturday and think, what do I want to do today? And then I just do it. Last Tuesday, my neighbor Lisa called me. She's an older woman, lived in the building for 20 years, kind of the unofficial building mom. Sweet lady, always asking how I'm doing. Leo, honey, she said, I thought you should know. Chloe knows you bought the apartment. My stomach dropped a little. How'd she find out? I may have mentioned it to her mother at the grocery store. I didn't realize it was supposed to be a secret. It wasn't supposed to be a secret. I just genuinely hadn't thought about Chloe finding out. It had nothing to do with her. Lisa, it's fine. Not your fault. She's not taking it well, Lisa said carefully. Her mother said she's convinced you're trying to ruin her life financially, that you're doing all this on purpose. I almost laughed. The apartment purchase had zero to do with Chloe. I didn't buy it to hurt her. I bought it because it made financial sense, and I wanted to stay in the neighborhood. But in her mind, everything I do is somehow about her. Thanks for the heads up, Lisa. Be careful, honey. Hell hath no fury and all that. I appreciated the concern, but I wasn't worried. What was she going to do? The confrontation came 2 days later. Edit. For everyone asking why I bought the apartment, it genuinely wasn't to spite her. I've been living here for 4 years, 3 of which were before I even met Chloe. When the landlord offered to sell, I ran the numbers and it made sense. The fact that it impacts her is coincidental. Edit 2. I know some of you think I'm being cold. Maybe I am. But I spent 8 months putting her needs before mine, and she still saw me as boring and suffocating. I'm done lighting myself on fire to keep someone else warm. Final update. I wasn't planning on posting again, but after what happened yesterday, I need to write this out. Thursday afternoon, I was at the apartment doing a final walkthrough with a contractor. I'm planning some renovations, nothing major, just updating the kitchen and bathroom, maybe refinishing the floors. The contractor was taking measurements, talking about timelines and material costs. That's when I heard the front door open. I'd already changed the locks when I bought the place. The old keys shouldn't have worked. But Chloe still had the emergency spare I'd given her mom months ago, from back when we were together and her mom had come to water my plants while I was out of town. I'd completely forgotten about it. She walked in and just stopped. The apartment was basically empty. I'd moved most of my stuff into storage while the renovations were being planned. There was a sold sign leaning against the wall, contractor's equipment scattered around, paint samples taped up in the kitchen. She looked rough. I'm not saying that to be mean. She genuinely looked like she hadn't been taking care of herself. No makeup, hair in a messy bun, wearing an oversized hoodie and sweatpants. She'd lost weight. Her eyes were red. Leo, she said, and her voice cracked. The contractor, sensing the vibe, mumbled something about taking measurements in the bedroom and disappeared down the hall. You bought it, Chloe said, looking around. You actually bought our apartment. I bought my apartment, I corrected. You never lived here. You stayed here sometimes. Don't do that. Don't rewrite history. She stepped further inside, and I could see her hands shaking. I can't believe you'd do this. Buy the place we shared, kick me out of the neighborhood, get promoted while I'm falling apart. Do you hate me that much? And here's the thing that struck me in that moment. She genuinely believed all of this was about her, that I'd orchestrated my entire life for the past month as some elaborate revenge plot. Chloe, I said, keeping my voice level, I didn't buy this place because of you. I bought it because my landlord was selling, and it's a good investment. I didn't get promoted to hurt you. I got promoted because I'm good at my job, and I finally had the bandwidth to focus on it again. None of this is about you. Bullshit, she said, and now there were tears. You're punishing me. For one stupid thing I said when I was drunk. I made a mistake, Leo. I made one mistake, and you've destroyed my entire life over it. I took a breath. There was so much I could have said. About the 8 months I supported her. About how that night at the bar wasn't a drunken mistake but a moment of truth. about all the little ways she'd made me feel small and boring and insufficient. But what came out was simpler. "You were right," I said. She blinked. "What?" "At the bar. You were right. You would suffocate in a life with me, because the life I want, the one I'm building now, is exactly the kind of small, predictable, boring life you described. I like working on motorcycles in my friend's garage. I like my steady engineering job. I like quiet Saturday mornings and camping trips and coming home to my own space. That's who I am." "Leo, I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did. And that's fine. You want something bigger, flashier, more exciting. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not going to shrink myself or apologize for being who I am just to make you feel better about leaving." "I'm not leaving," she said desperately. "I never left. You left me. You walked out of that bar and you never gave me a chance to explain." "There's nothing to explain. You told me the truth, probably for the first time in months. I'm just choosing to believe you." She moved closer, and I could see the desperation in her eyes. "I lost my job. I lost my friends. I'm living with my mother. I have nothing, Leo, nothing, and you have everything. You're thriving, and I'm drowning, and you don't even care." "I do care," I said, and I meant it. "I don't want you to suffer, but your suffering isn't my responsibility. Not anymore." "So that's it? After 2 years, you just erase me, like I meant nothing?" "You meant something," I said. "But what you meant and what I thought you meant turned out to be two very different things." She was fully crying now. "Please, I'm asking you, please. One more chance. I'll prove to you that I was wrong, that you're not boring, that I love the life we had together." And this is the part I've been thinking about since yesterday. I could have been angry, could have listed all the ways she'd hurt me, all the sacrifices I'd made that she never appreciated. Could have made her feel as small as she'd made me feel that night at the bar. But I didn't feel angry. I just felt done. "Chloe, I don't want you to prove anything to me. I don't want you to love the life we had together. Because I didn't love it either. I loved you, or I thought I did, but I didn't love who I became around you. Always trying to be enough. Always wondering if today was the day you'd realize you wanted something better." "I never wanted something better," she sobbed. "I just wanted you to see me. I saw you," I said quietly. "At that bar, I finally saw you. And you saw me too. The real me. And you told your friends you'd rather die than marry that person. I was being stupid and insecure and trying to sound cool. Maybe. But it was also the truth. The kind of truth people only say when they feel safe enough to admit it. You felt safe with your friends, safe enough to say what you really thought. And what you really thought was that I'm boring and our life would be suffocating." I picked up my jacket from where I'd draped it over a folding chair. "I'm not trying to destroy you, Chloe. I'm not thinking about you at all. I'm just living my life, the small, predictable, boring life that makes me happy. And I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for, but you're not going to find it with me. Leo, please, I need you to leave now. This is my home too." "No," I said firmly. "It's not. It never was. And you need to leave before I call the police for trespassing." She stood there for another moment, looking around the empty apartment like she was trying to memorize it, or maybe trying to figure out when everything fell apart. Then she walked to the door, stopped, turned back. "I loved you," she said. "Maybe you did," I said, "in your own way. But it wasn't enough. Not for either of us." She left. I heard her footsteps in the hallway, heard the building's front door close, stood there in my empty apartment, listening to the contractor moving around in the bedroom, feeling absolutely nothing where there should have been heartbreak. The contractor came back out. "Everything okay, man?" "Yeah," I said, and I meant it. "Everything's fine. Let's talk about those kitchen cabinets." That night, I drove up to Jake's place, told him the whole story over beers in his garage while we worked on the CB550. He listened, nodded, didn't offer any advice or judgment, just handed me a wrench and said, "Valve covers next. This weekend, I'm riding out with the motorcycle club. There's a state park about 3 hours north that's supposed to have incredible views this time of year. After that, I'm thinking about taking a welding class. I've always wanted to learn, Never had the time. My apartment renovations start next month. I'm thinking charcoal gray cabinets in the kitchen, maybe one of those deep farmhouse sinks, new tile in the bathroom. It's going to be exactly what I want, every single detail. Chloe texted me this morning from a new number. I'm sorry for everything. I hope someday you can forgive me. I didn't block the number, didn't respond either. Just left it there, unread, irrelevant. Because here's what I finally understand. Forgiveness isn't about her. It's not something she earns or I grant. It's just me deciding to stop carrying it around. I'm not angry at Chloe. I'm not plotting against her. I'm not celebrating her struggles or feeling vindicated by her pain. I'm just building the life I want to live, one small, predictable, boring decision at a time. And honestly, it's pretty fucking great.